Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to bring to your attention a significant and very concerning development involving former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Now, according to recent revelations by a whistleblower, Tulsi Gabbard has been added to a secret government terrorism watch list known as Quiet Skies. Quiet Skies is the same program being weaponized against J6 defendants as well as their families. Quiet Skies is allegedly used to protect traveling Americans from suspected domestic terrorists. Let's talk about this because it's very concerning. I know I've talked a lot about gold on this show, but silver is a fantastic investment, and many financial experts believe silver is the best kept secret in investing. It's an industrial metal, so it's used on all kinds of things, from cell phones to batteries to electronics to solar to electric cars. It goes on and on that list. But just 4 years ago, silver was in surplus, so solar was a tiny demand, and AI was non-existent. However, silver is now in deficit, which makes it more valuable, and solar is a huge draw on silver, as is AI, which is the new buzz consuming silver and electricity. If you're considering silver or gold, call my friends at Lear Capital, 1-800-260-5075, or head over to leargg.com. Thanks to them for supporting this channel. Guys, everybody can buy some silver. It's about $30 an ounce. It's very affordable right now. And if it goes back up to crazy levels, which many are predicting, you'll probably be happy you bought it. All right, let's get on with this story because it's very concerning. Undercover DC broke this story last night, and what they've uncovered is not just unbelievable, shocking, but it's also not surprising the way this country and our government has been trending. Sonia Lobosco is the executive director of the Air Marshal National Council. It's a national advocacy group for the federal air marshals, and she has confirmed that she spoke directly with a whistleblower who disclosed this information to her. Lobosco believes that TSA and Homeland Security are violating American citizens' constitutional rights in a, quote, big domestic surveillance grab, end quote, that seems to be targeting conservatives. She learned that Tulsi Gabbard was added to the Quiet Skies list last month and is currently under surveillance at airports and while on flights. While Tulsi initially wasn't aware that she was added to this secret government surveillance list that violates all of our rights, at least one whistleblower is ready to go on record with the pertinent documentation for proof. The level of scrutiny she is under is extraordinary. She's being followed by not one, not two, but 3 federal air marshals, 2 explosives detection canine teams, 1 TSA plainclothes supervisor, and 1 TSA explosives specialist. Now, that doesn't mean that these groups, this gaggle of incompetent bureaucrats are following her around, but it does mean she is being tracked, and FAMs, federal air marshals, have been added to her flights. Now, the reason for her addition to this list remains unclear because the government never has to tell you why you're illegally added to these secret surveillance spy lists. Shocker. However, it is worth noting that Tulsi Gabbard left the Democrat Party in 2022 and has been involved in very public disputes with prominent figures such as Hillary Clinton. And you know how her close friends seem to end up. Now, she has also recently been very critical of Vice President and a Democrat president nominee, Kamala Harris. We'll talk about that here in a second. But for what the federal government calls national security reasons, an individual is put on this list, enrolled in this program without their knowledge. Teams of federal air marshals are then assigned to individuals following and tracking their every move from when they enter the airport and then on their flights and in transit until they reach their destinations. Now, Uncovered DC says in their information that individuals usually have 4 S's on the lower bottom right-hand corner of their boarding passes, but it's not always the case. So if you have those there, you're probably on some type of list, including Quiet Skies. Now, these folks are often flagged for extra searches at the airport as well. Now, here is what the executive director of the Air Marshal National Council, Sonia Lobosco, said about the situation.
Federal Air Marshal whistleblowers that are coming forward regarding the recent surveillance of former presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard are outraged. Never in our career we were hired to track an active member of the military to surveil someone that is not a threat to the United States. We are outraged. This comes from the very top. We have some senior officials within the air marshals that are outraged as well. And we need this program called Quiet Skies to be shut down and shut down immediately. The original intent of the Quiet Skies program was to be utilized as a tool for federal air marshals to identify passengers that could be a threat to aviation security or a threat to a particular flight. What this program, Quiet Skies, has morphed into over the last several years has been a huge domestic surveillance grab. Even DHS' own investigatory group, the OIG, has put out reports stating that the program is a complete failure, and the program has wasted, in 2020 alone, over $390 million. This hopefully will have the attention it needs to have a program like this stopped and shut down. Taxpayers don't want to fund this type of program.
Now, according to Lubosco, Gabbard's enrollment in Quiet Skies is likely politically motivated. You don't say. Air marshals were first assigned to Tulsi Gabbard on July 23rd, a day after she criticized Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and the national security state in an interview with Laura Ingraham. Air marshals were then mobilized on July 24th and assigned to their first flight with Tulsi on July 25th, my birthday. Now, Tulsi's been very, very outspoken and critical of the Biden administration, and she's posted her interview with Laura Ingraham on Twitter, adding that Kamala Harris is not knowledgeable or strong enough to stand up to potential adversaries, or just as importantly, the unelected warmongers, i.e. the military-industrial complex, which profits from war, and the national security state, which uses these wars as a pretext to further clamp down on our freedom. Like Biden, she will simply be their puppet. We need a commander-in-chief strong enough to take charge. Trump will not be anyone's puppet. That's why the deep state will do everything possible to keep him out of the Oval Office. And we saw that in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, for those who might not be familiar, Tulsi Gabbard is a current lieutenant colonel in the United States Army Reserve, a former presidential candidate for the Democrat Party, and served as the U.S. Congresswoman representing Hawaii's 2nd District. The situation raises serious questions about the criteria and the transparency of these government watch lists, and as well as the implications for our civil liberties. I think these are illegal. How about you? Let me know what you think about this down below. Tulsi Gabbard, she's been saying a lot of the right things lately, and apparently she has angered the opposition so much that they're spying on her everywhere, including in the friendly skies. Guys and gals, I appreciate y'all. If you love the Second Amendment or news that affects all of our rights, then subscribe to Guns and Gadgets right down below. It's free, doesn't cost you 1 penny. Just lets you know what's going on. And I appreciate y'all. Be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.